In the heart of a forest, where the sunlight filters gently through a maze of emerald leaves, and the air carries the scent of moss and damp earth, lies a world most of us never truly see. Birds sing above, insects hum below, and branches sway with the rhythm of the wind. But if you listen closely, not with your ears, but with your curiosity, you might sense something more. Something quiet, something ancient. Beneath the rustling leaves and the dappled golden light, there's a secret world at work. A world where the trees are not merely standing still, where the plants are not simply growing toward the sun. They are alive in ways we rarely imagine. They are aware, they are connected. And most surprisingly of all, they are communicating. Not with words, of course. There are no voices echoing through the forest in the way we speak. But in their own remarkable way, plants are whispering, sending signals through the air and through the soil, carrying messages of danger, of hunger, of hope. It's a hidden dialogue, unfolding leaf by leaf, root by root, a silent symphony of survival and cooperation that's been happening long before we ever walked these woods. So step quietly now, open your mind, and let us journey deeper into this green and whispering world where the language of life is written in scent, color, chemistry, and mystery. When we think of communication, we think of words spoken aloud over coffee, typed into glowing screens, or sent as emojis dancing across a phone. It's the stuff of conversation, of connection. A child's laugh, a friend's message, a stranger's post in the infinite scroll of social media. This, we say, is what it means to communicate. And so it might seem strange, almost impossible, to imagine that plants, of all things, are part of that same fundamental rhythm. After all, they don't speak. They don't shout across fields or whisper in the breeze. They don't send messages the way we do. They don't move like we do. But here's the secret. They do communicate, just not in the ways we're used to. Their language is silent, invisible to the untrained eye, yet astonishingly sophisticated. They send chemical signals through the air, alerting others of danger. They release scents to attract allies or to drive enemies away. They use light to signal time and readiness, touch to sense their surroundings, and even subtle vibrations, yes, sound waves, to respond to their environment. It's a form of expression older than speech, more mysterious than any text message. It's nature's code, complex, elegant, and still unfolding before the eyes of science. The trees, the flowers, the grass beneath your feet, they're all part of this ancient dialogue. And though we're only beginning to understand it, one thing is becoming clear: the green world has a voice. We've just never learned how to listen until now. Beneath the forest floor, where sunlight never reaches and silence seems absolute, something extraordinary is happening. Hidden under layers of soil, roots stretch and twist like the fingers of giants, reaching not just for water or nutrients, but for each other. And connecting them, weaving through the darkness like invisible threads, is an ancient, living network, the mycorrhizal network. It's a quiet miracle, a vast web of fungi that links plant to plant, tree to tree, a kind of underground internet that has been operating for millions of years. These tiny fungal filaments, so delicate you could fit hundreds into the width of a single hair, form partnerships with the roots of nearly every plant in the forest. Together, they create a communication system far more sophisticated than we once believed. Imagine an old oak tree, tall and sturdy, suddenly under siege by a swarm of leaf-eating insects. It doesn't scream, it doesn't sway in panic. But beneath the surface, through the fungal network, it sends out a silent signal. A chemical message pulses through the web, warning its neighbors, danger is near. The message travels, nearby trees receive the alert and begin to change, not with fear, but with purpose. Some begin producing bitter chemicals to make their leaves less appetizing. Others release scents that attract predatory insects to hunt the attackers. The forest, once still and serene, shifts into a quiet state of defense, coordinated, efficient, and invisible to the eye. This isn't random chance, it's strategy, it's survival. It's a form of community forged in silence, one where competition gives way to cooperation, and where every root, every spore, plays a part in the well-being of the whole. What lies beneath the forest floor isn't just soil and stone, it's a hidden web of life, whispering secrets and strategies in a language older than time. Above the soil, in the golden light of day, a leaf trembles, not from the wind, but from something far more sinister. A small caterpillar, barely the length of a finger, has begun to feast. It chews methodically, carving crescent-shaped scars into the green surface. To the human eye, it's just nature doing what it does. But to the plant, it's a declaration of war. And the plant does not stay silent. Almost immediately, it begins releasing a stream of invisible signals into the air, tiny molecules known as volatile organic compounds, or VOCs. They drift outward on the breeze, spreading like a warning bell through the garden or forest. To us, they might smell faintly sweet or bitter. To other plants, these signals are loud and clear. Something is attacking. Prepare yourself. The nearby plants get the message. Though they cannot run, they respond in their own remarkable way. Some start ramping up the production of natural toxins in their leaves, making themselves a far less tasty meal for any passing herbivore. Others begin to emit their own VOCs, specially tailored to call for backup, drawing in ladybugs, parasitic wasps, or other beneficial insects that prey on the attackers. It's a chemical cry for help, a broadcast of distress written not in sound, but in scent, and nature listens. The allies arrive, tiny but fierce, defending the plant in a quiet battle that unfolds unnoticed by most human eyes. What seems like a passive, helpless organism is, in truth, an active participant in its own survival. Each breath it takes carries coded messages. Each scent it releases is a voice shaped by millions of years of evolutionary wisdom. In the world of plants, even the air is alive with conversation, an invisible network of warning signals, alliances, and strategy carried on the wind. Not all messages in the plant world are cries for help. Some are love letters, sweet, vibrant invitations written in color, scent, and shape. Step into a garden at dawn, and you'll witness the stage being set for one of nature's oldest and most enchanting performances. A flower, silent and still, begins to unfold its petals like delicate paper fans, but this is no random display. The colors it reveals, vivid purples, fiery reds, glowing yellows, are signals carefully designed through eons of evolution to catch a very specific kind of eye. Some flowers reflect ultraviolet light, painting secret patterns that only bees can see. Others pulse with fragrance, releasing invisible trails that drift on the breeze, calling out to creatures near and far, "Come closer. I have something for you," and so they come. A bee hovers, drawn in by the vibrant display and the promise of nectar. A butterfly flutters down, legs brushing pollen-laden stamens. A hummingbird zips through the air like a tiny jewel, its beak diving deep into a trumpet-shaped bloom. Each visitor is more than a guest, they are partners in a centuries-old exchange. As they sip, pollen clings to their bodies, hitching a ride to the next blossom. It's a quiet transaction, but it means everything. For the plant, it's the beginning of new life, seeds, fruit, and the next generation. For the pollinator, it's food, fuel, and survival. This is the language of attraction, a dance choreographed by evolution, performed daily across meadows, mountaintops, and rainforest canopies. It's not just beauty for beauty's sake. It's a lifeline, a strategy. A whisper that says, "Help me grow, and I'll help you thrive." And in this silent partnership, entire ecosystems are sustained. The buzzing of bees, the flutter of wings, the blooming of petals, they are all threads in a vast, living tapestry. One that keeps our world not just alive, but blooming with brilliance. But imagine this. What if we could truly understand the language of plants? Not just observe their movements or guess at their needs, but actually listen to their whispers? What if we could eavesdrop on this silent world and unlock its ancient wisdom? Picture a farmer walking through a golden field, not just checking the soil or watching the weather, but receiving real-time messages from the crops themselves. The wheat alerts him to a nutrient imbalance, the tomatoes warn of an approaching pest. The lettuces signal their thirst before they wilt. With this knowledge, farming becomes a dialogue, a partnership, rather than a guessing game. This is not science fiction. Around the world, scientists are beginning to decode the hidden signals plants send. Using sensors, AI, and biotechnology, they are mapping the chemical language of leaves, roots, and flowers, learning how plants respond to stress, communicate with each other, and even adapt to change. The possibilities are vast. Imagine growing food without the overuse of pesticides, because plants can alert us before an infestation begins. Imagine creating crops that are more resilient to drought, because we've learned how they naturally manage water. Imagine replanting forests and restoring damaged ecosystems, guided by the very organisms we seek to protect. And it doesn't end with agriculture. In medicine, we might harness the chemical signals plants use to heal themselves. In conservation, we could give endangered species a better chance by understanding their complex, hidden needs. The more we learn to listen, the more we begin to realize the plant kingdom has been speaking all along. Whispering solutions, offering guidance, sharing secrets. The green world is not silent. It's simply been waiting for us to pay attention, and maybe now, we finally are. The whispers of the green world are all around us. In the rustle of leaves overhead, in the gentle creak of branches swaying in the breeze, in the stillness of a garden at dawn, the plants are speaking. Not with voices we can hear, but with signals older and wiser than words. We just need to start listening, so the next time you wander through a forest trail, slow down. Feel the earth beneath your feet. Notice how the trees stand close together, not in competition, but in quiet companionship. Beneath the moss and soil, roots are touching, networks are pulsing, messages are flowing, stories of resilience, of danger, of hope. Or when you kneel in your garden to tend a flowering plant, pause for a moment. That bright blossom you admire, it's not just a pretty face. It's a carefully crafted signal, calling to bees, offering life in exchange for life. The scent you breathe in is a chemical poem, written for the wind and the winged. The leaves, they're watching the light, sensing the air, adapting, learning. These green companions, often overlooked, often underestimated, are alive in more ways than we ever imagined. They're thinking, sharing, responding. Their world is one of touch and taste, scent and signal. A world rooted in wisdom and woven with secrets. So listen, not with your ears, but with your curiosity. With your wonder, because when you begin to hear the whispers of the green world, you'll realize something profound. The forest is not just a place. The garden is not just soil and bloom. They are living, breathing conversations, nature's soft-spoken truths, carried in silence, waiting to be heard. And in that silence, if you're truly still, you might just hear the plants whisper back. If you found this fascinating, give it a like, subscribe for more nature secrets, and share this video to spread the whisper.